So as you know, the Insta360 X5 has officially arrived. And if you watched my last video, you would have seen that there are some major upgrades to this camera over the X4 and the X3. And that is purely because that this camera was leaked online months before it was coming available to the public. And all of the tech specs and press events were leaked all over the internet. So people knew exactly what to expect before it became available. But now that it's officially been released and a whole host of videos have been released online by YouTubers who have had early access to this camera and they've tested it across a variety of different scenarios, I've identified 15 different things that you need to know about this camera before you consider buying one. So let's have a look. So you're probably watching this video because you're interested in the Insta360 X5 and you're wondering whether you should get it or whether you should just get the X4 or something very similar. Well, I'm going to answer these questions. Now, you can just watch a load of other YouTube videos online for people that have got hands-on with it and can see exactly what it's like in a real-world scenario. But let's talk about the actual changes to this camera and let you know whether you should get this or whether you should just consider getting the X4 now that the price will probably drop on that model. So let's have a look at the first thing. Now at number one, we get a whole new design. Now the general shape and size and weight of the Insta360 X5 has not changed from the X4 or even the X3. It's pretty much exactly the same. The only thing that's changed is the design of it. And I think it looks quite modern, quite sleek, and it's got this really nice textured shape to it. Now the X4 had like this rubberized, texturized grip that you could get hold of, whereas the X5 has this sort of modern diamond shape to it, which I think looks really modern and sleek, and I quite like it. But I suppose it's down to personal preference. At number two, going with that new design, you have a brand new Windguard and a new internal microphone. Now, this changes the internal audio of the mic. So if you were just using the audio from the Insta360, there are comparisons online that you can watch now where people are using the X4 and the X5 side by side, and the audio is dramatically different and better. And the X5 has got better at reducing wind noise and ambient noise and just background noise in general. So it isolates your voice a lot better. And that's down to this new Windguard that it has. So it protects you from oncoming wind and stuff like that. So that's great for if you're an adventure vlogger or a motorcyclist or someone that's out doing something outdoors where there's a lot of wind and a lot of high pressure coming towards you. That will be really good for isolating your voice, and I think it actually makes your voice sound a bit clearer and a bit richer. At number three, we've got improved durability. Now, one of the other things they've done, which I'll touch on later, is the replaceable lenses. But with that, they've also introduced the lenses are actually more sturdy and more durable than they was on the X4. So people have been trying to smash this thing because of those replaceable lenses, and they've actually been struggling to do it because the lenses are more durable and are stronger, and the body in general is more secure and more durable, and it's even more waterproof. It can now go up to 49 feet or 15 meters in the water. So if you submerge it or you want to use it as an action camera going underwater, you can do that without it getting damaged or anything like that. At number four, we have a larger battery. Now, this has a bigger battery than the X4. So if you ever wanted to replace the battery, if you had an X4 or an X3 and you wanted to upgrade, you won't be able to change your batteries over because this does have a larger battery. Now, I'll put the exact size of the battery on screen for you now so you know how big it is. But ultimately, it's going to have longer battery life. I think it runs for over 88 minutes on one charge, and that's really good for keeping the longevity of the camera for longer. Now, talking about the battery, at number five, we've got faster charging. Now, with this X5, you can get up to 80% of charge from just 20 minutes of charging, which is absolutely brilliant. So if you're in a pinch and you're out and about and you're filming all day and then your battery drains and then you want to charge it, you can just sit down, have a coffee, have a rest for a minute and charge it from either a power bank or your outlet, and in just 20 minutes you will get that battery back up to 80%, which is brilliant for if you're out in the field. Now, I touched on this earlier, but at number six we have the replaceable lenses. Now, on the X4 the lenses were pretty durable, but if you ever damaged them or smashed them, you would have to go to Insta360 and get the replacement parts, which would cost you like £100 or $100 per lens, and then you would have to get them fixed professionally. Whereas with the X5, you can just order replacements. I think they're about $25 or $28 online, and then you can just get the replacements and do it yourself, and it comes with a little multi-tool to replace those lenses. But in addition to that, the lenses are more durable. So people trying to break them, actively trying to break them so that they can replace them, they've really had to put this thing through the ringer and smash the hell out of it to try and get these lenses to break. So they're more durable and they're easily replaceable, which means that this really is just an all-case use action camera. Now at number 7, and probably one of the biggest upgrades this year, is a brand new sensor. This is a 1/1.28 inch sensor, which is much bigger than the previous generation. And one of the things you learn about cameras over the years is we've sort of reached a point now where technology is so good and camera gear is so good that we're sort of nitpicking on little things that they're doing. And we're getting minor upgrades every year, just quality of life upgrades on these cameras. But one of the things we talk about, especially with iPhones or any sort of other mobile phone camera, is they use a lot of buzzwords to talk about how they've used AI to make the camera better, or they've bumped up the megapixel count. But ultimately, they don't really change the camera sensor size, which means you're not really improving the overall quality. Whereas with this, you now get a bigger sensor, which is much superior in low light. It's much better in general day-to-day shots. And if you look at side-by-sides between this and the X4, there is night and day difference, and that pun was intended. Now, if you're shooting in ideal lighting conditions, out in the sunlight, and it's a beautiful day, and you're filming in ideal conditions, then you're going to get pretty much identical results. That's not really where this camera shines. Where the new sensor shines is in night mode, low light. And the X4 you could use it in low light, but it wasn't really usable. The footage was really grainy and a bit rubbish, if I'm honest. Whereas the X5, the footage is absolutely phenomenal. Now, it's not amazing. No, it's not as good as a mirrorless camera. No, it's not as good as a professional camera. But it's not made to be that. It's made to be an action camera. And the fact is that with action cameras, they generally don't have good sensors. Whereas now we've got a great sensor on this. It's a 1/1.28 inch sensor. It's still not going to be mind-blowing footage in low light, but it's going to be at least usable, something that you can use. Now, talking about the new sensor, let's talk about shooting modes. Now, with this camera, you can shoot in 8K up to 30 frames per second, 5.7K up to 60 frames per second in active HDR, and you can shoot 4K up to 120 frames per second. So compare that to the X4, there are some minor changes, nothing drastic, but there are some minor little quality of life upgrades which make it better. Now at number 9, we have the pure shooting mode. Now this is touching on that sensor being good in low light. They've added this pure shooting mode, which is very similar to the low light mode that DJI Osmo Pocket 3 has when you're trying to shoot in night mode. So the Osmo Pocket 3 has the low light mode. This is called pure shooting mode. You turn that on and it just makes shooting in low light or at nighttime a lot better and gives you much better results. Now at number 10, we have a new mode called iLog mode. Now this allows you to shoot in log footage and it enables you to get the flattest image possible, which then you can put into color grading, create a profile for it, create a LUT for it, and then you can have complete creative control over your color grading in the editing process. Now this, as far as I'm aware, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but as far as I'm aware, this can only be used in active HDR in 5.7K. I don't believe this can be used in any of the 4K modes or the 8K mode. But if I'm wrong, I'm happy to be proved wrong. Let me know in the comments. But from my research, I believe it's only available in 5.7K active HDR. But again, it's a nice little quality of life upgrade to get so that you can have some creative control over your color grading. Now next up, we have the twist to shoot mode. Now this is a new update that's coming to the X5. It's unclear if this is going to come to the X4. Again, let me know in the comments if this comes to the X4. But it's been released as part of the X5 launch, where normally if you wanted to film on your X4, for example, you would have had to press record, then put it out on the selfie stick so that it's already recording when it's up there. Whereas now you can put it out and then twist the camera, twist it on the stick to record, and the twist to shoot mode will be activated and it will start recording and then it will stop recording by the same action. So that's a nice little quality of life upgrade, and the people that have tested it, the early access people, have said that this is something they found themselves using quite a lot. Now at number 12, they've changed the editing a little bit. So usually when you go into the Insta360 editing software, you would have to do a lot in the desktop mode in order to get the best results. And it would be very fiddly and very cumbersome to try and do it on the mobile app. Now they've streamlined that to make it a lot simpler to edit in the mobile app so that you can film something, put it on the mobile app, edit it quickly, get all the right angles you want, create a whole timeline from the AI shooting, which it uses AI to enable to pick the best frames from your shot, and then it just creates that timeline ready for you to export and upload wherever you want. So it's made it a lot more streamlined, a lot easier for people to use that feature. Now next up we have the versatility of this camera and the multiple different use cases in which you can use it for. Now this is up against competition like the DJI Action 5 Pro or the GoPro Hero 13 or any of the other action cameras that are on the market right now. But this one I think is a little bit different because it has that 360 view that you can shoot on, because it has interchangeable lenses if you damage it, because it can go up to 15 meters underwater, and because if you're motovlogging, for example, you can have a camera facing you and a camera facing out the front as your field of view, and just get a whole 360 view, and you can edit that later on to whatever you want. So you essentially get two cameras in one. And you also have the bullet time feature and all these little extras that it has with it. I think, and I'm not sponsored by Insta360, and I've only ever owned their X3 camera, and I have tested the X4, but I've not owned one. But I think that this is hands down the best action camera that money can buy right now. Now, there are use cases for things like the DJI Action 5 Pro, and it is a very, very good action camera. But considering the versatility of the Insta360 X5, I think it is the king of action cameras right now. Now, next up, let's talk about the price. Now, it has been bumped up by £50. Now, if you just get the standard mode, it comes in at £519 here in the UK, and that just comes with the camera by itself. And if you get one of the packages, it hovers around, depending on which one you get, there's multiple different packages you can get, but it's going to hover between 550 and 620 British pounds. Now, that is a price bump over the X4, but considering the amount of upgrades they've put into this, I think it's worth it. So like I said, there are so far 13 different upgrades that they've introduced over the X4, which added up all together, I think make it a brilliant camera and a good time to get one. Now, finally, the ultimate question and the last thing you need to know, should you get this camera? Well, if you already have the X4 and you're watching this video thinking, should I upgrade my camera to the X5? Unless you've got money to burn, then I would say probably not, because the X4 is still a very, very good camera and an excellent 360 camera. But if you've got something older, like an Insta360 X3, or you've got an older GoPro or an older DJI action camera or anything like that that's 3 or 4 years old, then I would say now is a brilliant time to upgrade and get one. Now, if you want, you can also, if you're in the market for a new action camera, check out the X4, because that will be on a good deal right now, and you can see if you can get that a little bit cheaper. But ultimately, this is one of the best action cameras I've ever seen, and I cannot wait to get my hands on one to test it out in the field. And I'm looking forward to strapping it to my dog and watching him run around with it. That'd be quite fun. But if you are new here, consider subscribing. If you want to see any of my X5 videos coming up or any videos on the Osmo Pocket 3, then make sure you subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.